Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled night on Spirit Connections. Going into our second year, which I'm excited.
Oh my gosh.
For all you guys that missed it last week, we had a birthday. I feel like I'm eating the camera. Sorry. I just realized I was leaning forward. But we had a big birthday announcement, which was 1 year for Spirit Connections. So I'm so excited about that. So this year we are actually promoting so much more. We have a whole couple of months filled with guests so far.
Absolutely.
Tonight we have Nicole Lahousse.
Yes.
I hope I pronounced that correctly.
I think so.
Okay, I hope so. We have her on. She's owner of Majikllc. She works with crystal craniums. For all of you guys that don't know what it is, she'll be explaining it to you. And also aura photography, which, yes. Steph, you had the pleasure of getting your aura taken.
I did. And I can't wait for you guys to see what's coming up because she is amazing. You guys will learn so much more. I know you guys have to wait 10 minutes to talk to us first, but...
I know, the full 10 minutes.
I know.
So, yeah, we have a lot to go over tonight. First, it is May already. It's May 1st. Yes. Can you believe it? I can't. It doesn't feel like it's May 1st. We're still in April showers.
Yeah.
You know?
After today and all those puddles I stepped in, absolutely.
It's awful. All I want to do is get into like a little snuggie and wrap myself up and sit in front of the TV. I'm so like tired
and go home. And it's just that weather. It's what it does to you. It makes you want to stay home from work and watch movies all day. But
I hate it.
Can't.
I hate it.
Work.
I hate it. But anyways, we have some things going on. Steph, today starts the first day of your
my office. Yay!
And what's it called?
Actually, it's under Linda's business name, so it's Windwalker Healing.
And that's Linda Lynch.
Yes. So you guys can go to windwalkerhealing.com and check out what we got going on for the month and for June too as well. I think we have that up as well. So
that's good.
It is. It's fun stuff coming up. Tons of classes, tons of readings and rap parties and everything. So check it out. Let us know. Our emails and phone numbers are on there.
It'll be great too. I'm hoping to get in there at some point to do some readings in there. It's in New Bedford, so all you New Bedford people that watch, I know whenever time we try to make a plan to get a reading, it's always a little bit north for me, so I always feel bad. So it's a great location.
Right. So
and you're going to be doing your It Works there too.
Yes. Yes.
The wraps that we have all the time.
So it's bikini season. Get going.
I know. She's been wrapping me every day. No, I'm just kidding.
You wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I know. I wish. I wish. Anyways, so we have that going on, and then next weekend is a pretty big weekend. We have, let's see,
whole bunch.
Yes, Friday night, May 11th. I'm going to be on Troy City Radio at a Fall River. I'm going to be doing some free mini readings, and Jason Medeiros, who's the host of the show at 8 p.m. I'm actually going to be giving him a reading in studio.
Very cool.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
I'll be there to support you. So.
Yeah, I'm happy. And then that brings us into the Sunday, which I've been promoting. Nashua, New Hampshire at the Nashua Holiday Inn. I'm going to be doing a Angel Kisses reading with Nicole Stevens, who I had her on my show back in January. She will be back in June, so I'm excited.
Very cool.
And if you guys don't know, we are going to be giving away an additional pair of tickets to the show in New Hampshire. So definitely pay attention to my Facebook page, Spirit Medium Tiffany, and you'll be able to figure out how you can win those tickets. So we're 2 weeks away, not even, so make sure you pay attention to that. Also, don't forget to check out my website, tiffanyrice.com, for all upcoming events as well, because if you do listen on May 11th, Troy City Radio, I know it's .net, but I'm not sure if it's just a web show or if you can actually tune in on your radio. And so once I get that information, I'll be posting that too. But I'm going to be giving away a pair of 2 free tickets to the Spirit Connections Gallery reading June 10th, and that's going to be at the Taunton Holiday Inn. So it might be a little bit closer for all you guys, especially for those tuning in Wareham. So yeah,
awesome.
That's it. that's all
for
I
now.
got.
It could change
for now,
tonight.
Exactly. It usually does. It usually does, which is good.
We have a busy 2 months coming up, just with just personal stuff as well. You know, investigations and readings and
baby showers.
radio shows and
I
baby
know,
showers,
and
yes.
in our personal life with baby showers
Yes.
and all that good
Crazy.
stuff. I know. Are you guys going to be, I'm sorry, did you mention that you have a Facebook page yet for
I gotta
the
set that
business?
up. I gotta figure that out, so I will let you know as soon as I do.
You should.
I will. So that'll be exciting.
So anything else new going on?
Nope. While I have a moment, we'll say a quick happy birthday to my mom. It's her birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
So hopefully she's watching so she can see, but
We should have had cake again.
I know.
See, you could have came in here and we could have made cake. I've been craving cake today. And bacon.
We don't need more cake.
I've been on a bacon kick too. In my mind, I haven't actually fulfilled that bacon need.
Well, you did
but
tonight with the Texas cheese fries.
I did.
So you did have bacon.
I did. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's our week in review, like we usually like to do, the first 10 minutes or so of
Yep.
Spirit Connections. Alrighty then. Well, I guess we'll be having Nicole on,
Okay, all right. No.
and we're going to be switching. I
Yes.
swear we're going to have to come up with some music or something for the in-between switching.
So nobody hears me breathing or moving?
Breathing,
Yes, absolutely.
moving, me dropping my mic as always.
Why not? It's just part of the
It's
show now.
it's
So,
it's common.
all
Very
right,
common.
I'm going.
All right. Hello. So this is Nicole Lahousse, and I'm hoping I'm pronouncing your last name correctly.
That is correct.
Okay, good. Because I've done it before, and I'll do it again, definitely. So I feel bad. I just have a quick question because I'm looking at the camera and I'm noticing that the red light is not on, so I'm not sure if it's.
You're good.
It's good? Okay, good. There. I just got a little nervous. Just didn't want to get things mixed up. So welcome to Spirit Connections. Thank you so much for coming out, and I know
you for having
you've been so busy, and even with you and I trying to communicate, it's been like, hi, you still there? Anyone? And we're both, it's the same thing. And
We have to communicate telepathically.
I know. It'd be a lot easier, wouldn't it? Instead of like 2 in the morning, oh, I should send Nicole an email.
I know.
So Nicole is owner of Majikllc LLC, and where are you located?
Currently online, and also I just got a new space at Nature's Haven Wellness Center, which is 607 Great Road in North Smithfield, Rhode Island.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you there full-time, or is it by appointment, or?
Typically by appointment only, and sometimes I schedule different events
Great.
for Saturdays and Sundays and things like that.
Now, how long have you been in business for?
Let's see, since 2008.
Now, Nicole's on the show. We're going to be talking about her aura photography, and we're going to be talking about the crystal craniums. So first I wanted to kind of touch base on aura photography, because I believe the first time I met you was at Collective Souls in Acushnet, way back when, and then we finally got to talk. I think you and I were both doing a fundraiser at the American Legion, maybe, in
Yes.
Acushnet? Okay. So it just jogs my memory. So you do aura photography. That's a tough one.
Yes.
Can you explain to me what that is?
Sure. Basically, we use some hand plates that give a slight electric charge. You don't even feel it. That interacts with the meridians in your hands. That interacts with your aura, because your aura is a bioelectromagnetic field that surrounds you. It's energy around you.
Does it give off different colors, or?
It does, and so we're able to capture those colors on the film, and then I do a reading based on what I see and feel, and I use the picture to show you what it is that I'm seeing and feeling in your aura.
Now, she actually brought pictures, a couple of pictures, which her son Damien's holding up. Now, can you describe the one on the reddish one?
Sure. The one on the left side is my son Damien, and we see there's 3 main sections to the aura photo, which the one on the right actually shows a little bit better, breaks it out, and I can kind of go through that with
Sure.
the yellow section shows how you deal with people, the energy that you put out into the world, interactions with others, how people perceive you, that kind of thing. The green section above the head shows the energy that's going on with the person at more on that personal level, and then that purple color that you see on the right side of the photo shows the energy that you're putting out into the world. The energy that's coming in, so in the near future that's coming into you. So going back to Damien's picture, all that orange, he has a lot of creative energy. People see that in him. He has a lot of, it's kind of combination of red and yellow, which red is very intense, passionate, active, and adventurous energy, coupled with yellow, which is intellectual and happy and positive. And when those two mix, you get that creative, life-bringing energy, basically manifestational energy.
Wow. Now, I'm going to ask you probably a common question, especially with energy healers around us. Now, those colors, are they any relation to the alignment of our chakras? Because I know each chakra, we go on a basis of colors.
Mm-hmm. Basically, yes, there is a correlation with the different chakras, and with that, it's a little bit more complex with the aura and what's coming out. So you can have different colors emanating, but it doesn't mean that it's just that one chakra.
And plus, I do want to bring up, which Nicole had told me prior to the show, that it does change on a day-to-day basis. So like the chakras, you have these base colors, red, orange, yellow, and so on. Whereas when you get your photograph, your aura photograph done, it could change from Monday to Tuesday.
Correct.
Right.
Nice job remembering all of that.
That's the only thing I had to remember today, so I tried hard at that.
Pretty much with the aura, everybody has their own energetic pattern. So you do have a base aura pattern to you, and that can change slowly and slightly over time. So say your energy pattern has more green to it, and that's the color that you most of the time emanate. You could have, you could slowly, through your transformation in your life, change over to something that's more blue or something that's more orange, and go in either direction. However, the aura will change to emotional stimuli, and that's where the instantaneous change comes into place. So if somebody that you haven't seen in forever came and suddenly showed up and gave you a nice big hug, your aura would definitely expand and change to that color, emanating that love and that surprise for that person.
Now, have you ever taken a photograph of someone where you saw these strange colors and you're thinking, oh, okay, maybe you need to open up a little bit, or maybe, what happens in that situation when someone's excited, like, all right, I'm holding on, and I hope I get these beautiful colors like everybody else, and all of a sudden it's black or gray or a color that isn't common. What happens at that point?
Basically, if somebody has a lot of stress, not to say that our regular, everybody has stress, but our regular day-to-day stress, it will show up a little bit different than somebody who has been extremely stressed out for a long time and is really taxed out, and the aura has holes or things like that in it. That can actually show up as stress reds or even the stress ultraviolets. And those will show up. I have had those show up. There have never been any black auras come out. Some deep stress reds that showed a lot of holes I've seen. But it's also a really great tool for that introspection to see what areas of your life or confirmations of those things that you really need to focus on. So when that does happen, I point out, what a great tool it is, because now you can see the things that you need to focus on, because sometimes people will push it to the side or ignore it. this, you cannot ignore it when it's right in front of you. You have that visual confirmation. And usually people are happy in the end.
Right.
Because when they come back and get their aura taken again, after a little bit of working on it, they see the change taking place.
Exactly. Now, let me ask you this, because I get asked this question when I do my medium readings, is we know you can take a picture of a human and they can get, you can get their aura, but what if you take a picture of your pet? Does that work? I mean, I don't know how their paws would hold on to the little...
Well, you can actually do, that's a good question. People do ask that too, especially people that have, you know, their lifelong pets that they're very into pampering and things like that. You can, the equipment that I have, they could hold their pet and have that interaction of their aura with the pet's aura. It's a little bit difficult to do, but it can be done. There was, in the development, I know that they were developing a piece that would link on to the pet paws.
How would you get it
things
around
like
a
that.
cat's paws? That's one thing that, I mean, Lily is obviously, she's incredible, so she would definitely probably just, that's my dog.
Yeah.
She'd probably just pick up her paw and let you do it, but cats, most cats I always feel are very
So you'd have
fancy.
to hold the
You'd
pet
have to-
and
yeah.
and you could place it. It's I think it was a Velcro thing that had little points on it to pick up. But I know that I had talked to the owner, and he said that they were having a lot of difficulty with that. So I think that was on hold for a little bit, and maybe they'll develop it in the future if they can find
That's
something
exciting.
else. But you can use it as a tool with the interaction. I've done that with 2 people, and you could do that with a pet and a person.
Now, do you have aura photography parties?
I do.
That's exciting too.
So
I want to just have like a big metaphysical fair at my house.
is your house that big?
No, not at all. It's the Alice in Wonderland house. It's like these small, uneven rooms, and you have to crawl. So you don't really have to crawl. I mean, sometimes I might crawl just for the
I'm
effect,
short
but
enough.
yeah.
I'm sure enough I never
Yeah.
have to crawl.
No, neither do I. Steph, do you have any questions about aura photography?
Yes, we do. So, what kind of camera do you use, and how does it work?
I use the AuraCam 6000. It was developed by Guy Coggins, and he's out in California. And what was the second part of the question? How
does it work?
How does it work? Basically, as I mentioned before, there are a couple of hand plates, and it sends a little bit of an electrostatic charge up through your hands that interacts with your meridians. It's a biofeedback process, so it goes through your entire system, and then it feeds the information into the camera, which processes that information, and then puts the colors onto the film, at which point then I can read the aura and show you on the film the things that I see in the aura. So hopefully that answered the whole
Let me ask you this,
question.
how did you get involved in that? How did you get involved in that whole sense of, okay, I want to become an aura photographer, and where do I go? Did you just Google? Is it something as simple as that, or?
Well, I've always been able to see auras since I was a little girl, and I kind of, lost a little bit of touch with that when I got older, and when I was working with a lot of crystals and things like that, which I still do, but when I was deeply getting into that a little bit more, my friend worked at a crystal shop, and when I went in to go and visit her, they had an aura photographer there. So that's kind of where the aura photography camera came into play in my life, where I started going and, you can see them around people.
Being
so
able to validate too, and
Right.
people love instant gratification. So being able to be told, oh, I'm seeing red around you, or I'm seeing yellow, what have you, and then all of a sudden that picture, and it confirms it, they
Right.
like that.
Because
Who doesn't?
even if you kind of touch base on some things that are going on in their life, people do have that skepticism and doubt, especially if they don't want to hear something that they kind of say, well, you could be making that up. Well, if they have that validation right in front of them, they can kind of see those things, and usually everything is right on. So it's amazing.
I love it. You actually did my godmother's picture on Sunday. I almost said Saturday. And she said that she went to go Google like what each color meant. She's like, she was so cool. She told me everything. And it was, for her to read it herself, she was like, everything she said was right. So it's awesome. We do have more questions.
Okay.
So my new assistant Damien's going to ask you a question.
How do the colors show up?
So basically, when the hand plates and the camera and everything is taking place and taking that biofeedback, it's actually going through all the meridians and kind of piecing together all of the data that it's pulling from you. And that way, that's how it puts the colors onto the film. So it's kind of a complex map of the biofeedback process and how it works, because it goes all the way through your body, reads all of your chakras. So it's going through all of the energy centers and putting that information onto the film.
Excellent. Excellent. And Steph?
Oh, sorry, my turn again. Do you ever see people who have all the colors show up?
Yes, I have seen that. And basically what that means is that there's a lot of dynamic energy that's happening in their life. Usually things that are really taking place at a rapid rate, and many different things in all different aspects and directions are happening with them. They have a lot of decisions to make and choices to follow through on. That's usually when you see that type of aura. That's usually a temporary aura.
I hope so. I hope so. That would be awful if you just keep on going back week after week. That
Right.
brings me to another question. Do people actually come to you on a weekly basis, or?
Not on a weekly basis. I usually see people every couple of months or three months.
Wow.
Some people like to get theirs done every month. Every
Just
other
kind of
month.
check
is
up
good.
on where they're going, maybe,
Right.
or that sensation.
Yeah. It all depends on how you feel and what you want to get from it. Because if you catch your aura at the right times, you can actually, and save them and document what dates you had them taken on, you can actually map out a really cool collage that tells a story.
Steph, we should do that.
I have so many already. I can probably make a book, but I
I've never
did
gotten it done before.
I do, because I used to work for Lisa at Collective Souls,
Oh,
and
yeah,
every
that's
time
right.
Nicole would be there, that would either be my pay for the day. Here, go get your or red, or I would just do it anyways because I wanted to know. And there was times where I actually hid from Nicole because I knew mine was horrible, and I didn't need the validation that it was terrible. So I'm like, no, next time. But it's an awesome thing to have done. If nobody has had it done, it's something to definitely look into. Definitely contact Nicole, because it's so cool to actually see. I mean, you guys can get readings from us anytime, and you have that validation of, you know, present or past, but actually seeing what's going on with yourself is like a whole different level. It's
Well,
cool.
maybe Nicole, you can go to Steph's place in New Bedford.
I'd
Yeah.
love to.
and do
Absolutely.
some.
You can always come down and we'll figure something
Then I'll
out.
happen to be there.
I'm already thinking, like,
Yeah.
what can I invite her to? Because
I know.
so many
Well,
people.
do you have any events as far as aura photography goes? Do you have any events lined up so far?
I actually have one coming up this Saturday at my own place.
And again, where is it located?
That is 607 Great Road in North Smithfield, Rhode Island. And that's at Nature's Haven Wellness Center.
That's good. And is it from 10 to 5 or?
It starts at 10, and I'd say at least 10 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely check that out, guys. If you have nothing going on,
Right.
it's so worth checking out. Maybe I'll be there. You never know.
Maybe. My events book up pretty quick, so if you can get an appointment scheduled, you can send me an email of what time you're looking for, because they do go pretty quick.
I still want to have my own little metaphysical fair at my house. And I don't have a big house at all. It's like a little, but I do, because I
We can
get-
have one in my backyard.
We're going to be doing, yes, table tipping and all that fun stuff. We're going to be talking about crystal craniums, which segues me into crystal craniums.
We have one more question, though.
Oh, sorry, one more question.
Okay.
Can you tell if someone is sick? For example, if someone had cancer, would you be able to tell if they were sick or going to be?
Damien, how did you memorize that question?
He actually added to it and did a fantastic job,
That's
might I add.
awesome.
He did amazing.
That's awesome.
That is a good question, and people do ask this question quite frequently. And you can see stress areas, and sometimes if there is something going on, it may show up as a stress area. It doesn't necessarily show any particular illness per se, or what that illness is. There is an oral biofeedback report that I can do through my computer that's a little bit more intensive, but as far as figuring out which illness somebody may have, it's not something to diagnose anything with. So that's kind of a disclaimer.
So let me, and forgive me if I'm totally getting confused, which, believe it or not, I do get confused a lot.
Really?
What? So my question is obviously your biological makeup has something to do with the auras as well. Is that correct?
In what sense are you?
Meaning scientifically, if I just sounded super intelligent for a minute, but meaning scientifically, for instance, like when a woman is getting her period or whatever,
Okay.
it's a proven fact that their voice range changes and the
energy
way they
changes.
walk changes, and it's a common scientific fact that that's what happens. So does that whether it's something going on with a man too, does that affect like maybe a higher testosterone level affect the colors of your aura?
That could, if it is actually having that much of an effect on the energy of that person that's being emanated out. So yes, in certain ways that would be true. For instance, like you mentioned, a woman that's entering or in the middle of her menstrual cycle, she may emit a different type of energy because of the different hormones that's going on, the hormone level change.
Anger and frustration?
Which that could go to some of the stress reds. But I would say yes, that could have an effect. And things, the most interesting part of the aura photography is that things manifest in the aura before they manifest in the physical. So again, if you catch the aura picture right, you can actually see things before they happen. Stresses, what areas that are being stressed that could eventually become illnesses, or some kind of colds or illnesses coming up, versus pains in the muscles and things like that. Stresses create these pains, but you can catch them before that actually happens in the physical body, if you're lucky.
Wow. Well, if you guys still have more questions for Nicole as far as aura photography goes, definitely keep on. You can write them into the chat room, or I know throughout the show we're going to be posting Nicole's info across the screen, so you can definitely contact her that way. But I can't leave out that she brought these magnificent crystal craniums, and hopefully you guys will be able to see all of them. She brought 1 million of them, and we have them all displayed right in front of Steph and Damien. There they are. And there's more. There's more too. Not just those three, but there's more. So these guys are heavy. They're heavy.
Some of them are, yes.
What is the deal with crystal craniums? What are they? And are they negative? Are they scary? Are they supposed to be happy? What do they represent? Tell me all about crystal craniums.
That's a lot of questions.
It is a lot of questions. Well, the reason why I say that, because I feel like a lot of times, and we always talk about this here on Spirit Connections, when we talk about doing a haunted investigation, there's always a negative connotation. Well, I feel like sometimes, other than in a doctor's office, when you see a skull, it also has a negative connotation.
Right.
So, tell me all about them. Let's start from scratch, from the bare bones.
Okay.
That was a little
so-
joke. Nobody got it.
We did, we just ignored it.
Okay. As the rest of my life. No.
I
Go
wasn't
ahead.
paying attention. I'll
So
admit
basically with the skulls, the first question that I usually get is why the skull shape? The skulls are made out of crystal. There are various types of crystal, and crystals have their own energies, their own consciousnesses, and they've been utilized forever in various items, especially quartz crystal, because it can hold up in radios, watches, things like that. It's used because it's piezoelectricity. Its ability to bend and flex and relay information, hold information, its record keeping, things like that. With the skulls, it transforms the crystal a bit. So when you carve a crystal, it changes its energy. When you carve a crystal into the skull form, it actually amplifies its ability to hold energy, and it allows the energy levels to be levels of energy to be added to it. So it can hold more energy than just the crystal as it was found. They take on a life of their own. They seem to talk.
What
to
do you mean, talk?
Yeah, they kind
Nicole,
of.
what do you mean?
Some people that are very sensitive to crystals can feel different things coming, to feel information coming from the crystal. Well, the same thing can happen with the crystal skulls. To me, it seems much more amplified because it's almost like sitting there and talking to a friend, because you have this connection in a human form. And that's basically the answer when people ask why the skull form. It's easily assimilated by humans as, something that they can relate to. So if I took a rock and walked up to any person on the street and just kind of handed it to them and said, "Hey, look at this," all excited, and if they weren't sensitive to crystals, they might say, "Okay, you're a lunatic, and what do you want me to do with this?" Right? If you did that and took a skull and did that to the same person, you may have a different response, where they might actually say, "Oh, what's this?" or "That's kind of cool." There's a certain relation. Humans like things that look like themselves.
Absolutely. It's just like when people, they always say that, people like to hear their names all the time.
Right. So if you take a look at that kind of thing and go a little bit deeper, basically now you're taking the human consciousness, bridging that with crystal consciousness, and really expanding that to bridge that gap between crystal, human, and basically universal consciousness. So it really brings in a certain amount of awareness and expansion for the person.
Now, let me ask you this, because as we were walking into the room and I gazed upon all these skulls in front of me, I went to the one that I felt I needed to go to. And of course, I didn't ask, I just touched, which I should have done, but I was like a kid in a candy store, and that was the first thing I did. So I have a question. I went and touched the one right in front of Damien first. Was yep, that one, yep. And I rubbed my hand on his skull, and I know, but right after I felt like a vibration all the way up my arm. Now, is that something, am I just a little cuckoo, or
Absolutely
is that,
not.
Can you explain?
Sure.
If there's any explanation, but.
different skulls will have different frequencies, and you'll be attracted to, various ones based on the frequency that they're emanating. So that one in particular attracted you. It was speaking to you in some sense. So the fact that you wanted to touch it, and that's okay, all the skulls that I brought here are touchable skulls.
Good.
So by you touching it, you made that connection with it, and it was able to transfer the energy that it wanted to get to you, because perhaps there's some information that is stored in there that needed to be transferred over to you. And the fact that you felt that like electrical charge or whatever going up your arm, that's typical for somebody that's really receiving a lot of information at once. So I'm not surprised. Especially that guy, because he has a very, very strong, like, emperor type presence to him. Very
Of course,
royal.
I went right to him.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what I go after. Like,
I
oh,
can't, I just want to take this one and just
Put it in front
why?
of me.
What's that one? Can
That's-
I
that
hold
one's
one? Can I
perfect for
hold
you,
one?
Stephanie.
Because I put my arm on it and I just felt this like shooting like sensation go up my arm. My arm actually feels different than the other one.
Exactly, and it's almost, my arm feels like it's like floating.
It's so
You know,
weird.
that's what it is. Do you mind?
So-
Can I hold it during?
Absolutely.
I promise I will not drop. My mom's probably
Well, his-
nervous because I
See,
Drop
you drop
my-
things. No, I'm just kidding.
I do drop things.
His
a lot.
jaw
That's the first
detaches,
time.
so be careful.
His
Yep.
jaw detaches on that one, so
I have to ask, is this Labradorite?
that is Labradorite, and
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
sure. That one is one of my master crystal craniums that I do attunements with. And that one's name is Andy Azul,
Okay.
and he's actually connected to
Thank you.
the Andromedans. So I'm not
you
surprised that
explain?
you were attracted to that one, because we were talking about some of those things the other day.
Yep. I think I'm going to pick
What
him
are
up
some of the? Can you go into detail? a
and
little?
put him with me, just for a little while.
I'm putting this one right on my lap.
Yep, go right ahead. That
And
one
what is-
actually kind of sings a little bit.
This one?
Yep.
How many more?
Oh, please don't let me break the jaw. Please don't let
You
me break
can
the
put it
jaw.
on right like this.
Okay. Thank you.
There you go.
Holding it like a baby.
I know. I'm just gonna hold them sideways.
So, kind of backtracking a little bit to the negative connotation of the skulls, that's also something that I'm asked to talk about a little bit when I'm out at shows as well, because all through time, back in the ancient times, there was, the skulls were used as, a celebration of life. They were used for healing. They were used for record keeping. They were used for all these great and wonderful things. And over time, the skull has become this object and symbol of death and poison and arg,
Right,
like,
right.
pirates pillaging and things like that. But I think that a lot of that fear of the skull is because of all that brainwashing through the ages that has taken place. And now it's been a time of reversing that and showing that these are actually life-giving, they're healing, they're amazing tools for expanding your consciousness, expanding your thought process, looking at things from a different perspective, and just raising the consciousness of the entire earth. So
The feeling that I'm getting right now, it's almost like if I have my hand on something vibrating.
That's exactly what my fingers are tingling.
Yeah, that's exactly what
It's
it feels
so
that's
like.
what
weird.
happens.
I've never touched one before.
My arms, it shoots a lot of energy, and my arms are vibrating right now.
That's exactly what it feels like. It's so weird.
Especially my right arm.
Well, I touched it with my left first, so that one's got a little bit more going on, but
Yeah, you put enough of these guys in a room together and the energy gets really amplified, and sometimes it's a little intense.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nothing negative at all.
We already have questions pouring in.
Well, you can talk, yeah.
Um,
You can talk, Steph.
Thank you
You're
for
allowed.
permission, Mom. What are your feelings on the legendary crystal skulls? And then he put the Mitchell Hedges skull.
Okay. The Mitchell Hedges skull is probably the most famous skull because it has such a wonderful synchronicitous story to it, and has been probably the topic of every ancient crystal skull conversation ever. So I've never physically seen the Mitchell Hedges skull myself, because it's kind of out of the public eye right now and for a while now. But I do have a skull that has sat with the energies of that skull. And it has amazing energy within it, because the skulls will transfer energy to each other, so that it's kind of like when women get together, they transfer all information.
Oh, yeah. We're-
It's kind of like that, but probably not so much gossipy, but they transfer different information to each other to activate each other and bring each other up, raise each other up. So with the ancient skulls, I've actually had the pleasure of meeting many of them, especially this past 11/11/11 conference that took place in LA. Kendall Ray Morgan actually puts these on, and the 12/12/12 is the last one, I believe. And that's a cruise to the skulls return to Atlantis. I'd rather it say Lemuria, but that's okay. So there is information on that as well. You can, I think it's Crystal Skull Event or crystalskullevents.com that you can see that on if you were interested in going on that. There's going to be an amazing time, and there's a ceremony in Fort Lauderdale the day before. I think it takes off 12/13, the cruise, and the ceremony is on the 12/12/12. But getting back to this information, I have had the pleasure of meeting several of the ancients, and it was an amazing experience. I would say, each one has its own story. It's up to you as an individual whether you actually believe it or not, and I really feel like if you actually sat down with these skulls, the energy, if you think this is intense energy, that's nothing compared to the energy that these hold. And there's a lot of energy in these guys, but I mean, these have been around for so many, many, many years, thousands of years, and collecting all that information. They're very activated, and they've been used by, ancient peoples, and just amazing energies.
Now, how does one go about, is it inheriting a skull, or do you purchase a skull? How do you know that it's a legit skull? Especially, I'm assuming a lot of people probably find them online. So how do you know that it's an actual crystallized skull and not something that it's not?
That is a very good question, and that still remains one of the hardest things to get by when it comes to the ancient crystal skulls, because even when they are ancient skulls, it can be hard to actually validate that. I know that Sherry Whitfield with Synergy, I know hers is one that is validated because she received it directly from the native peoples that had that skull for years and for generations. So that was validated. Some of the other ones may not be completely validated, or they have extensive testing that was done on them, and even when the testing is done on them to no determination of how this skull even came into existence, there is still doubt that's cast. So that is very, very difficult to do. and each one has its story. And like I said, you'd have to see them to fully comprehend all that information.
I can only imagine. Now, how do you keep them right? Do you name them?
I don't necessarily name them as they tell me their names. So it's kind of, once you make a link with the skull, it seems to start communicating with you more and more. It may give its name right away. Sometimes it gives its name to you right when you receive it. And sometimes it takes quite some time for the skull to reveal its name. But it does eventually. So that's how I got all my names for the skulls.
What's this one's name?
That one's Jin B.
Oh. Jim Bean?
Not Jim B.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's Jin B, J-I-N, and then B-I.
I'm teasing you.
I know.
I'm kidding.
We'll get you for it later. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing you now, see?
Meanwhile, I'm gonna be having visions of this skull. It's amazing, though.
Flapping its jaw.
I know. It's like an old Brady Bunch episode.
Oh my God.
Steph, what are you feeling?
This is interesting,
Isn't it?
to say the least. We're
I
having
feel
our
like
own
it's-
conversation over here while you guys are talking, but the vibrations and the feelings that are coming from it are outrageous. I don't even know how to describe it. I know Nicole's sitting there going, haha, you have no idea what you're doing to yourself right now.
I feel like it's clearing out my energy.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling much better as I'm just sitting here like, oh.
Right. And
After
like,
the day I had, I'm like,
when we do the chakra alignments and we can figure out certain, blockages,
yes.
you know how we
Yep.
sense that? I'm feeling that it's getting my blockages because I'm like, oh, that kind of feels weird. I don't like that feeling. But it's because it's releasing.
Yeah, it feels
Just
like
the
it's just
negative.
taking everything and just
Yeah.
making it go away, but I don't even feel like it's, you know how normal crystals will hold the energy and until you clear them? This one just kind of feels like it's getting rid of it. It's just going, and
Yep.
it's crazy. It's
I
a crazy
love it.
thing. I feel like I can't even hold the conversation anymore. Like, I'm busy.
Yeah, I know. But it's like you can't even talk. That's it.
Yeah. Like,
It's not even like
I-
you're focusing. It's
Right.
just like you're kind of letting it take the wheel.
Yep.
You guys are going to have to touch one of these. So
It was
anyways,
amazing.
I love it.
Yes.
Damien, how many skulls do you have?
I have 2.
You have 2? You keep them in your room?
Yes.
What do yours look like?
One is like, it's like brownish. It's kind of like the different colors, like these brownish colors. And then I have a bigger one, like 5 times bigger than the smaller one. It's about this size, but a little bigger. And it's all black.
Cool.
That one's a Numite.
I was going to say, do you feel like that one keeps you grounded? Meaning not going anywhere? Maybe not.
That one brings lots of different things into play, a lot of synchronicities into life. So
Very cool.
I
So,
love it.
normally with the skulls, what is your main focus, I should say? I know you do attunements, healing sessions, things like that. I don't know.
yes.
Did I completely miss that conversation? I apologize if I'm asking a repeat question, but I feel like
Nope. That is correct. I do attunements with the skulls, and some of these that you see out here today are some of my master crystal craniums, which they have families with them, and each one is a different aspect. So it's kind of one of those things, whatever skull you're attracted to of that family, that's the skull that you would get with your attunement. And based on whatever skull that you're attracted to, like the one that you have is Andy Azul, and that one's connected with the Andromedans, which is a race of star beings. So.
Which is so funny because we just had that conversation. So
Stephanie's getting attuned to the cosmos right now.
I'll go home and I can hear aliens.
Star
I will be
girl.
calling you in the middle of the night, Nicole. I hate you.
No, she'd be thanking me.
Oh, I know. I'm just scared. That's all. I just.
What are you scared? Like, I'm like, give me more energy.
No,
give
no.
me all you have.
We had the discussion that
Oh.
even though I talk to dead people for a living, I am terrified of little green men, little green aliens.
Oh.
I don't know why. It's just one of those things that are put into your head as a child, and you just don't think about it. So, I was telling her on Sunday that I'm just the thought of aliens scares me. I don't know why.
So she's getting attuned
So
right
of
now.
course I picked the
By
one
the
that
aliens.
I told you they're probably talking to me and I don't even realize it. So as people at home are calling like some kind of those three, they're a little weird. They need to get locked up.
What is
Right.
this one then? I know you said Emperor.
Right. He
All I can
has-
think of is Sinead O'Connor's song Emperor's New Clothes from like 1991.
Oh my
Sorry.
God. That's
I know,
a
it was
flashback.
awful. I watched the video all the time and I hated it.
Oh my
Go on.
gosh.
No offense, I like Sinead O'Connor sometimes.
Sometimes. This one in particular has it's that emperor type of energy, but it's more of that positive energy of an emperor that makes him a good leader, a good ruler. So this skull actually helps people to bring that out in their personalities, to attune to that within that energy within them, bring that out so that they can walk like that emperor, put on that that energy about the emperor, and just really be able to have that confidence and also clarity to be able to lead people, to have the what's the word that I'm looking for? That
Walk with conviction.
Right.
That type of.
that kind of thing, and just really be that good leader and being compassionate towards people, yet stern enough to make the right decisions and follow through on them and hold people accountable, but doing it all with love. So that's that kind of. People are very insecure inside a lot, and to be able to bring that courage out without it being egotistical.
Right.
Yeah.
I get it. I love it. I love it. And Steph, I know, by the way, we only have a couple more minutes left.
Mhm.
So maybe one or two questions if there are any.
The last one that I had, and it was the last one for quite some time, was along with the Mitchell Hedges skull question. It was what do you feel about the Mayan connection?
The Mayans definitely have connections to several of the skulls that are out there. There is a skull that was I think it's connected with the Mayans, and it's called Kana Ishin, that I got to meet while I was at the conference. And it's actually a blue jade, which is similar to my Ari that's in front of Stephanie over there. And it's the corn mother. It was found in a cave by a Guatemalan boy, I believe.
Very interesting. I'm sorry, my mom just texted. My mother just text messaged me and said, "Spaceships from Mexico. I'll have your aluminum foil hat ready." Like in front of me. My brother used to say, yeah. My brother used to say when we were little that the aliens rode in donuts. That's just how he associated with them. My mother one day, I'm sorry, quick story, put a black contractor bag over our skylight upstairs because the light was coming in at like 5 a.m. in the sunlight and blinding us all, so we were all awake. So she decided to do it when we were going to bed because we were little kids, and she ended up saying that she was blocking out the alien rays, just joking around. Oh my God, the two of us started screaming and
See,
crying.
and that's
Exactly where my
her
fear
fear comes
comes
in.
from. So thank you, Mom. Thank you for reminding me about my,
It's all
my
your
aluminum
fault,
foil
Mom.
hat.
Yeah.
So I'm
too
very
funny.
sorry, but the Guatemalan boy is what you were discussing.
Yeah.
And
I
we're
believe-
talking about the skull right in front of, not the one that Steph has her hands on, but the one in front of her. Is that right?
This one?
I'm relating that to
This guy.
That other skull, because it's the kind of the same type of jade where it's
Oh, I see.
the blue
Okay,
jade.
sorry.
They call it blue jade even though it's green because of, I believe I heard that it was because of the waters back then. They didn't have, blue and green. That the blue-green of the water, it wasn't distinguishable between whether it was blue or green or not, so they called it blue jade. But the Guatemalan boy, I believe, found it in a cave, and it's now owned by or guardianed by the owner of crystalskulls.com, I believe.
Oh, wow.
And it radiates this very mothering energies, and the Mayans go so far back in time and have this culture around the crystal skulls and things like that. So there's definitely a connection, a deep connection with Mayan and South American traditions and things like that.
Now, for those of you, before we wrap up, I do want to say you did bring a couple of books that actually help you guide you along.
Right.
And they're the ones that you would recommend, because I know there's a ton of books out there, but obviously you want to hear it from the best. So Nicole, what are your 2 top selections?
Oh. I would say, well, we have Crystal Skulls Interacting with a Phenomenon over there. Yep, that's the one, Damien. And Crystal Skulls Astonishing Portals to Man's Past. Jaap van Etten and David Hatcher Childress and Stephen Mailer are awesome people that have written, awesome authors. Stephen Mailer is an archaeologist that I got to meet as well. And these guys are deeply connected with the crystal skulls. Jaap is actually a scientist, so I love his writings on the crystal skulls because it comes from more of that scientific perspective that I can relate to as a scientist as well. And but these guys, I think they're really great. These aren't the only 2 books, but I would say if you're looking for some good books, these are definitely 2 of the best ones out there.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out. Get onto Amazon, purchase some books.
If we can ever get up, since we're sitting here holding skulls.
I know. I feel like I'm going to be up all night.
There actually is one other book that is newer by Jaap. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
It has to do, I don't know what the name of it is off the top of my head, but it has to do with Mother Earth and the vortexes and things like that. And that book explains different layers and frequencies of the crystals and when they're carved into the skull. So that might be a really good one for those that are really interested in why that skull shape and how the crystal can actually take on higher frequencies and attain higher frequencies, because he explains all the frequency levels, I believe, in that particular book.
I love it. I love them all. Now, how would you feel if, I believe they're called Day of the Dead, like in Mexico, and they put jewels on them. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's disgracing it? Or
Absolutely not. That is actually one of the
real quick,
celebrations.
we have 1 minute. Make it quick, make it quick.
That's actually a celebration of life, to put
Okay.
it shortly.
See, and I love it.
Yep.
I love I
It's a celebration
I didn't
of
want
your
to say
past
anything because I'm
ancestors.
like, I hope I'm not saying anything that's negative. But definitely, you guys, please contact Nicole Lahousse. And I have all of her info on my Spirit Medium. I can't even speak. On my Spirit Medium Tiffany page on Facebook. So definitely, if you don't get it through tonight, you can contact me and I will pass along the information. And thank you so
you.
much for being part of the show. And
Thank
I know
you.
we probably didn't get to everybody's questions because there's just so much more to go on,
I know.
as always. But I hope you would like to come back soon. So,
Absolutely.
but until next time, thank you everybody for tuning in to Spirit Connections. And you can catch Nicole in Smithfield, Rhode Island this weekend at
607 Great Road, North Smithfield, Rhode Island, at Nature's Haven Wellness Center. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, we will see you next week, and I will put the skull down so I can speak properly. All right, have a good night. Thank you.